Good morning to all of you. Today I'll complete my lecture on a valediction forwarding Mourning by John Donne. As I have already given 2 or 3 lectures earlier on the previous 6 stanzas, today I will finish the last 3 stanzas of this text. These last 3 stanzas constitute the most famous conceit of twin compasses. In our last lecture, we have discussed how a conceit of golden sheet is used by John Donne to express how their 2 souls, there means he and his wife or mistress. It can be also applied to any lovers on the occasion of farewell, on the occasion of separation. So, in earlier stanza, John Donne said that we have 2 souls, but they are actually one. They are united. And united like a golden sheet of metal. Now, he claims contradictorily. He says, okay, let us assume that our 2 souls are 2. They are different, as people think. Okay? If they be 2, they are 2 so. As stiff twin compasses are 2. This is the famous conceit or comparison between the 2 souls and stiff twin compasses. Actually, it's a singular to compass. Twin compasses, it signifies one compass with 2 feet. Why it is stiff? Because these 2 feet are connected at a fixed point, at a fixed end. You must have seen in your geometric class of compasses connected at one point. So, he says that these 2 feet are just like 2 souls, but they are connected. In earlier stanzas, he claimed our 2 souls are one. Now he says that 2, but connected at one end. So let me paraphrase these 2 lines. If our 2 souls are 2, they are 2 as 2 feet of a same compass are 2, but united at one steep fixed point. Okay? Now, these 2 feet are connected at one end. Thy soul the fixed foot. So one soul, that is your soul, is the fixed foot, which remains fixed at the center. Makes no show to move, but doth, if the other do. Notice how John Donne, throughout this text, has utilized monosyllables. And John Donne is often claimed as the master of monosyllables because he is very musical with his monosyllables. He creates a very colloquial, dramatic, masculine, musical tone in his text. The whole stanza, if I repeat, it will sound very monosyllabic but musical at the same time. Thy soul the fixed foot. Notice there is no play of punctuation, but you must read it, recite it with the punctuations, with invisible punctuations in your mind. Thy soul the fixed foot makes no show. So your soul, which is the fixed foot, appears not to move. To move but doth. Notice the contradictory tone. To move, but doth. It doesn't appear to move your soul, your fixed foot. But actually it moves. But doth means but does. You have seen so much archaic Elizabethan spelling of these words, do, doth, of these auxiliary verbs, dummy auxiliary verbs, pronouns. To move but doth, if the other do. So when it moves actually, if the other foot does move, actually the fixed foot also moves. So this is very scientific, practical. If the fixed foot is fixed upon a center, upon a point, and you want to create a circle, obviously the fixed foot will also move on its own axis, on its own point, as the art moves on its own axis. In our earlier lectures we have seen the diurnal movement of the art, the axiomatic movement of the art is also referred to in the earlier stages. So astronomy, geometry, or you can say mathematics, philosophy, everything have been utilized by John Donne. Now, what Donne wants to say? Donne wants to say that the two souls, okay, may be different because we are physically separating. Okay, let me consider that our two souls are not united. As I said earlier, these two souls are different. But how? They are different like the two different feet of the same compass. So we belong to same compass. We are connected at one end. And my movement is directed by you, and your movement is directed by me. So we are mutually connected. Go to the previous phrase that Donne used, interassured of the mind. So we may be far from each other, but we are connected by our emotion, by our passion, by our love. We are interdependent. We are mutually assured. We are mutually connected. So this corresponding movement between the 2 feet of the same compass refers to also their mutual interdependence. So what Donne wants to say is that I may go away from you physically, but that doesn't mean anything. It rather makes our love stronger, our connection, our bond stronger. And my movement will be corresponding with your movement, and your movement will be corresponding with my movement. So the physical separation, the distance, doesn't mean anything. Now this famous conceit, let me say a few words about this famous conceit of twin compasses. Now you will say that every conceit is innovative. But I will say that not only I, critics like Redpath and other critics also claim that this conceit is not innovative at all. This conceit actually belongs to a famous Persian poet called Omar Khayyam. He was 11th century poet, Iranian poet, Persian poet, who had used almost the same concept. But this was very much impossible for Donne to read a Persian text at the time due to the unavailability of English translation at the time. Now, other critics also suggested that indirectly Donne may have read a 15th and 16th century Italian poet, Giovanni Battista Guarini. Now, Guarini used almost the same conceit of twin compasses, the same conceit. So you can't claim that this conceit, which is often famous and famously quoted by other critics while discussing Donne's text, and critics like Harfam, Geoffrey Harfam, claim that this conceit is one of the best sustained conceit of John Donne. So this conceit is very famous, but we can't say that this conceit solely belongs to John Donne. Omar Khayyam was also, like John Donne, had a great knowledge about philosophy, about mathematics, about astronomy. In this text, we also find an amalgamation of the knowledge related to different fields like that of astronomy, mathematics, and obviously, of course, love. So, in the next two stanzas, John Donne will continue to expand upon this concept. He will expand and he will illustrate for our own benefit how can you compare the two souls, which is extremely spiritual and amorous, to a mathematical conceit, mathematical figure like two compasses, like 2 feet of the same compass. Let me move on to the next two stanzas. And though it in the center seat, it means the fixed foot. Though the fixed foot sit in the center, yet when the other far doth roam, it leans and hearkens after it, and grows erect as it comes home. Notice how assuring the tone is. Is assuring, is convincing his beloved. That when we make a circle with the 2 feet or with a twin compass, what happens? One foot must remain fixed at the center. When the other means other foot. When the other foot doth means does, roams, R-O-A-M-S. So roams far. So he is obviously referring to his continental tour to France, that I will roam far like the other foot, but he will remain fixed. You should remain fixed at the center, that is in England. So without this, without your fixity, without your constancy, I may not be able to complete my journey, to complete my roaming. So when I move and you remain fixed, sometime it may happen, it leans and hearkens after it. If the one foot goes away, the center foot must lean after it, must hearken after it. So, leans means having a tendency. So, if I go away, roam far away, you will lead after it. This leaning and hearkening after the second foot refers to the growing intensity of love. So what he suggests analogously, that the more I roam far away, the farther I go, the farther I roam, the more intense our love will grow. So your fixity and your intensity are both important for me, and grows erect. And when it comes home, when the second foot, that is me, when I return home, the fixed foot grows erect. Because the center is complete, because the traveling is complete, the journey is complete. So the journey is compared to making a circle. So when the circle is finished, both feet must come closer to each other at the home. So this circle, completion of the circle, actually signifies the completion of the journey and also the perfection of our love. So our love will be perfect if our movements are corresponding with each other, if you remain fixed at the center, and your intensity grows for me when I am away. So that is not only convincing her, he is also demanding constancy, demanding intensity of love when he is absent from her. So this is not just assurance, this is also just a demand, what you should do while I remain away. Such will thou be to me. As I said, this is a demand, this is a prescription that you should do this. You will be such to me. Your importance is such to me, and you should remain fixed, constant to me, because it is very important for me to complete my journey without any hesitation, without any confusion, without any anxiety. So I don't want to feel anxiety. So you should remain fixed. You should remain constant. Who must, like the other foot, obliquely run. Me means who? Who means me. That is the second foot, which is not at the center. The second foot must like the other foot. Other foot means the second foot. So who? That is me. I am compared with the second foot, that is the other foot. Must obliquely run. Run means roam, journey, travel. Obliquely means, this is very ambiguous word, obliquely. What does it mean obliquely? You know, mathematically, when the circle is being made, the second foot, that is actually which is making the circle, must be curved, must not run straight, it must always curve. So the oblique may refer to the curving movement of the second foot, but it also may refer to a sense of freedom, that I must enjoy my freedom to roam, but you should remain fixed at the center. And this is very, in terms of feminist point of view, this is very unjust demand for the poet, for the lover to make, that I must run obliquely, not directly, not in a straightforward way, which connotes a lot of sexual deviations, but you should remain fixed. You should remain constant. Thy firmness makes my circle just. Again, he is also trying to convince again and again his lover that you should remain firm, because your firmness makes my circle just. Firmness makes my circle just. Just means perfect. So my circle, my journey will be perfect if you remain fixed and firm at the center, and makes me end makes me means helps me. Your firmness helps me to end my journey and return to home where I began. Where I began means from this point. From my homeland, I'm starting this journey, and I will return here. But here, we have a question. How can the circle begin from a center and end in a center? We know that it doesn't happen. The circle doesn't begin from the center and end at the center. What Don wants to say, that my beginning and ending of this journey is like creating a circle. Although it may not correspond to the circular structure, but thematically it corresponds with a perfect circular journey. So I am departing from here and I would return here. So this creates a completion, a just circle. And who will help me to make this journey perfect, perfectly circular? You. You should remain fixed at the center. Otherwise, it will be difficult for me to make our journey complete, to make our love perfect. So in a sense, Don is demanding, not just assuring. He's demanding, prescribing that you should do this, you should understand this. People are stupid, you are not stupid. You should understand this, and you should also do this. Remain firm, fixed, constant. Although I am roaming around, I will roam around obliquely. Okay? So with this famous line, famous conceit, Don actually creates a sustainable tone throughout this text with his use of monosyllables, which are often alliterative, full of monotonous words. But those monotonous words are never at all sound monotonous. Those words create a perfectly harmonious masculine rhythm. That's why Don is called master of monosyllables. So you should find that there is a subtle balance between monosyllables as well as the vowels, and these restraint over the monosyllables, this control over the monosyllables, are like a restraint of creating a circle with the twin compass. So the whole poem can be summarized with this concept of twin compasses creating a perfect circle. So you should go through again the text, and if you have any queries of any word, of any related to any phrase, please make comments and I will try to clarify it as far as I can. So have a good day. Thanks.